Hi guys, I'm Ree,
Amar.
and this is the Need to Know. So, guys, it's been a while since we put out an episode, and it's just a lot been going on, and we're gonna talk about that towards the end. But we're also gonna just, do a little reflection since it's just been so long. And it's funny because I was talking to myself about this earlier, and I was like, oh, we should do this for the episode and kind of just like talk about our progress from like start to finish and just overall like how we've grown and like what we've learned about our especially about ourselves. Oh my gosh, about ourselves. I feel like it's just we're older. We kind of know we're in different situations. And it's just I guess we're in a new chapter, and I said that I've been watching a lot of podcasts that keep talking about chapters, and I think that that's a good I guess a word to describe this. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess we can start with just I guess what chapter we on right now. I feel like that's where we should start. Like what chapter of our
Mm,
lives that we're on now,
mm.
and how the need to know helped us to get to that chapter, or how it like I guess maneuvered us into that chapter.
I would say this is like a weird chapter for me. Like it was a chapter I didn't see coming at all. Especially with the
Okay.
start of the show. Like start of the show was like I was like very quiet, very I guess like to myself, which I kind of still am, I'm not gonna lie, but um I would say like getting older has become like you start prioritizing things a lot more. And then like Serena always says, like since like season one, like life be life. And so it's like you
Yeah.
never know what life is gonna throw at you. So once you get hit with it, it's kind of like it's like the period of adjustment. Like I think this chapter in my life is all about like learning how to adjust to different aspects or different things that gets thrown my way. And it's still like a work in progress because it's like I don't know how to handle it, but I don't want to say like the universe, but kind of like
Mhm.
this chapter is like forcing me to learn new ways because I felt like I've always been like in a certain comfort zone where like I just stuck to what I knew, but
Okay.
this is now forcing me to like learn outside things or just learning how to process things differently. And yeah, it's been like really hard. Like I mean, I could tell like I haven't had a haircut in like 2 months, so I look kind of crazy, but um, it's just I'm just literally trying to figure out everything, and it's like it's been hard, but I would say like I'm in a little bit better space than I was like let's say last year, but this period is like a weird but an eye-opening experience because it's just like been a whole lot of adjustments, especially with moving too, but just trying to figure out life while it's like being thrown like it feels like
Gotcha.
1,000 different curveballs. And it's like I'm just trying to figure it out, but I just don't know how. But I feel like eventually I will figure it out. And the need to know has definitely helped in terms of like opening myself up, um, and just like communicating and speaking more freely. Because before the show, I was just like, even though I was like doing stuff on Instagram and YouTube before, I was never open about like personal things I was going through. And the need to know, like obviously being a show of just diving deep into like personal life and different things that we didn't have like an outlet to speak on. Like the need to know gave me an opportunity to speak about like things that young adults like myself go through on a regular basis. So it's definitely helped me to like navigate or try to figure out what to do with this new phase of life. But it's still an adjustment, but I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, for sure.
For me, I feel that I I feel like the best word for my chapter is I what it's a phrase I'm gonna say faced with accountability. Like I said this to somebody and I said, I'm learning how to take more accountability for my actions in terms
Mm,
of, what I say, what I do, and what I want people to, I guess, understand about me. Um, I've always been this open person from day one. I've never not, sugarcoated anything. But I feel like that version of Serena is not the same. Like I'm older. I don't do I don't do what I did before.
mm,
And I kind of just understand the person that I am just a little bit more than I did, then in the beginning. And I feel that I'm trying to not make people understand, but just see what it is that I'm trying to say. You know,
Mhm.
you don't have to, accept it. You don't have to, take it in, but you have to. Everything is always you have to understand it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to, run with it, but you have to understand it because
Yeah.
I want more. I feel that, I had friends before, any kind of, friendship before where it's like not everyone got to know Serena, like the full blown Serena. Or not everybody meets her, not everybody, meets, oh, hey, you meet Serena, but you don't meet Ree. I think that's the perfect thing. Not everybody meets Serena, but you don't meet Ree. Like I'm always gonna be the same person. No, that's normal. We should all be trying to sacrifice something to get where we want to be. But it's
Mhm.
hard to do that, when we live in a world that is just all jacked up and, needs fixing. And more so just I'm learning. I felt like my strongest thing, right? Like the most that I'm learning right now is taking accountability. And it's just, I've been in a lot of situations recently where it's like I didn't realize, that I'm in a certain headspace. And then I'm realizing that I have to understand, like, okay, there's always going to be a different way to approach something or to fix something or, to get through a situation. And
Mhm.
especially, the need to know has really helped to get me in a better mindset about my, my work, like what I do. And also like, especially networking. Like I went to an event by myself, like a networking event by myself. Obviously I didn't talk to everybody. I'm not gonna do that. Like that's weird as hell. Like I'm not just gonna walk up to you. Like I can. And people always say that, like, I really can do that. I'm just not going to, like that's
Yeah.
not my that's my person, but that's not my person, like I'm going to take in who I think might wanna, be introduced to me or I want to introduce myself to them. Other than that, I feel like the need to know just really showed me the different kind of people that we have in the world and that we all just see life differently than what we expect it to be. I also learned that like I do really give good advice. Like people just really love what I say to them. And I love like hearing that because it just shows that I'm impacting somebody's life in some way, shape, or form, even if it's, just for the moment.
And I agree too. I think I mean, this chapter as well has shown me like to take more accountability as well. I used to think like, and I used to, I guess, mix accountability with like a mistake or like you did
Okay.
something wrong or like you're a bad person. But
Mhm.
I'm learning over time that like accountability goes for everyone, whether you're good or bad. Like sometimes you just
Yeah.
maybe you didn't do something in the moment and it's like you just have to, be responsible for like your actions, whether it's good or bad. And yeah, definitely getting older, like especially with like different experiences, like I've learned that over time, like it doesn't make me a bad person. It's just in that moment I just didn't do what I needed
Right.
to do. So
No, yeah. I think that, accountability comes with learning how to communicate well. That's
mhm,
something that we're all trying to do, learn how to communicate better. Everything we're always gonna evolve. And it's just like sometimes you don't realize like, oh wow, like I didn't notice those I mixed the two things that shouldn't have been mixed, and I reacted in a way, like so and it's like I feel like that's just something that we have to do over time. We're
mhm,
not gonna it's not gonna click the first day you do it, like it's gonna happen over time. Because today I might do it, tomorrow I might be like, this really got me upset. And I just can't even care with how you feel. And then the next day I could be like, oh, like I feel that I shouldn't have did that.
yeah,
It takes time. And I feel like that's something that I'm learning to do. And it's just, it's just something that I guess we all have to go through, of course, as we're adulting, and the kind of people that we have in our lives, who's holding us accountable for what we do and what we say and our actions. Oh, so how has life, impacted us? And I guess I always want to try to always have us think about the negative aspect as well. Like, how has life put us in that, I guess, that downhill spiral, because we're always going to have a moment where we're going to go downhill. And I feel like, how has life put us in the downhill spiral in this chapter? Well, for me, I feel like it's more so finding a job that I like. So, and I'm like, I don't, I don't network as well as I should, but it's also, a lot of people don't realize I want a certain thing. So it's like, yeah, I can network, but it's not going to get me to the thing. So it's
Right,
like I
right.
always have to like balance out, like, does this get me somewhere? And I love that people always like try to encourage me to do something, but I really be thinking, like, telling them, like, I don't think that that's going to get me, personally where I want to be.
Mm.
Because yes, I'm a writer, but that doesn't mean I want to do that. And yes, we work on the needs to know, but that doesn't mean I always want to do that. Like, I don't always want to be on camera, like, I don't always want to, post something or interview somebody, like, I don't always want to lead a conversation. Like, it's like, you can't always try to, I guess, convince me to do something that I'm doing already in,
Yeah.
in the in the capacity that I think is helping me to do it for someone else. Like,
Mm.
I can help that someone else. So that doesn't mean, I want to do that, because, like, for example, I freelance for magazines and I do like articles for them or whatever. And that's fine. I love doing that. It's great. It's a great learning experience as a writer. And for someone to tell me, what I need to improve on in terms of that specific, kind of style, which is
Mm.
totally fine. I want to do that, but I don't want to not be able to, you know, like, I want to do publishing. So it's like, I need to, do that. I need to find somewhere to do that. But it's like, I can't do it in the capacity that people want. I want to do it in my capacity. Like, I write
Right.
books, so I'm learning how to do it myself. I self-publish my books. I've actually worked with the other company to do my second book. So it's like, I'm learning the process to do it for myself,
Right.
even if I don't get to that, big place, which is fine, which is what I want, but it's also fine because the end goal is what? To still do it for myself.
Mhm.
So I feel like people don't realize that that's kind of what I'm fighting for in terms of the long-term goal. And it's like, I don't want to rush to get there, when if I rush, what's going to happen if I rush? But I also don't
Yeah.
know what happens if I do rush. So it's like,
Right.
what do you do in that situation, basically? That's my down. I feel like that's my down, like my downward spiral in terms of that.
I'll say for me, it's somewhat similar. Um, Mine's is just more like the financial aspect of life. Like the job I have is great. I'm actually enjoying it, but it's like the older I get, the more I need.
Right.
And I feel like it's like this job, if I was like maybe 20, 21, where I was like just starting out, figuring out life, like it'd be great because it's like I wouldn't have that many
Right.
responsibilities on my head. But it's like now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to think, like kids might come into play, marriage, buying a house, or just like moving on to like the next big phase of my life. It's like where I'm at now is not enough for me anymore. Um, and so like trying to find like a job that I'm passionate about while also like providing me the life that I need necessarily. Yeah, so like this past year has just been like, especially with moving as well, like it's like in a sense I knew what I was doing, but at the same time, like it's kind of like the same scenario of like life be life and like you just don't know what's gonna come.
Yeah, you don't know.
So it's like once you get hit with it, it's like, oh shoot, like it's like I have like a million different things and it's like this job is not like meeting the
Yeah, for
standard.
me, yeah.
Right. So now I'm at a stage where it's just like, okay, how do I move forward while also maintaining what I have? because it's coming down to like some sense of, I guess I would say, sacrifice. It's like, do I
Hmm.
continue with the job I'm at now because I like it, or do I move on to something else where even if I may not like it, it provides me the life that I need. And so I'm kind of like
Okay.
I'm kind of like a
At a
standstill,
crossroads, like you're at the
right?
crossroads right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always in that scenario with a job. Like
Hmm.
I'm always in that scenario because I've worked for so long, and
Yeah.
I worked for like from young, especially in school, so
Hmm.
I know the battle and the sacrifice between, doing what I want to do and having responsibilities and paying this and paying that, and
Yeah.
not being so much at that time, but like even now, like, okay, like I don't want to stay at whatever job, or I need to do this, you need to sacrifice. And it's just like I feel as if this was youngster and I ain't have no baby, I'd have been like, listen, quit that job right now. But we also have responsibilities. You move to Texas, you have these things you want to do, you want to do this, you
Hmm.
want to do that. And there's also, how do you want to plan around things. If you have a plan, sometimes you just have to take that job and see how you can maneuver within that job, or you see like where else you can, what's the word, strive at that point.
Yeah.
But then also, we live in an age right now where money just seems to just be going downhill and it means nothing, and things are increasing. We're in inflation right now, we're actually living it, and it's like, bro, what is going on? So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a working process, adulting, especially adulting.
Yeah.
I didn't
Like,
I knew it was like this, but damn, like living
yeah.
it is a different story.
And that's the
So
thing too. Like, I feel like the need to know is like one of the few platforms that I could always like revert back to whenever I'm like dealing with something, because it's most likely something we've talked about on the show before. But I still believe to this day, like a lot of kids, especially like the high schools that we went to, like they just don't talk about like
yeah.
what actually goes on in life. So it's like you're learning math and English and social studies and stuff, but it's like, okay, what about like when I turn 21 and like I have a
Right.
kid? Like, how do I get a job, or how do I get to the field like that I want to be in? Like, what are the actual
Oh
steps?
yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely. Oh my gosh, definitely. Especially when you want to get into a specific career. It's like, again, you have to find someone that's going to help you, or this person going to find you a job or recommend you.
yeah,
Like, do they know people? It's so complicated and so hard. And this person that I went to school with, and I see, and I don't want to say it's a envy thing, because I feel like that's how it's going to come off as, but I don't want to say it's envy. It's just more so you get where you get by who you know and the
mhm,
people that you have behind you, and it's like, it's just weird. I think, I don't want to say it's weird, but it's just, if this is the life that we have to live in, why don't we have authentic skills? Like, why are we not authentically us? Why can't we authentically have these skills and be, like, use these skills to get us somewhere? Why is it that
right,
we have to know someone to get there, or why do we have to, you know fight to fight this person to get there? And it shouldn't be that way. But I said that especially about that particular person because I always known that she like knew the people. That's just always been how things were with that particular person. She always knows somebody. She's always like interacting with people, and by all means, that's perfect, and that's what you're supposed to do. But again, someone who I guess didn't know what they wanted at first and then got something what they wanted based on just, knowing someone, it's crazy to me. And it's just like, that's cool. And I tell people, I feel like we should all know what we want to do in life. I've always said this,
mhm,
I've always wanted to be the thing forever and ever. Like, I never changed my mind. So it's like, for someone who knew what they wanted to do and for someone who just figured it out, kind of seems kind of like, damn, just because I knew this person, I got there. And
right.
it's crazy that was, that's the reality of how we like life works.
No, that's true too, because sometimes even when you get to that position because of like knowing someone, sometimes you start like questioning yourself, like, well, damn, like, did I get here because I know what I'm doing, or this
Right.
person just put me on? Like,
Just because, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, no. But that's why, you know, that's why I don't like to utilize the people I know only if I know it's going to help both of us, you know?
yeah,
But then you realize you have people that don't want to help the both of you guys. They just want to help them. And you're just like, so then what was the purpose of this?
hmm,
You know? And I don't think that that's fair either. I feel like, you know, we should be helping each other to step forward, not using one person at a time to get us where we are, leaving that person that helped us behind. I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that that's a tool that we should be using. I feel like that we should work together. Like someone even told me, like, oh, you know, like we should be um I should always get something out of something. I was like, why? Like, why can't I just help this person because I know something, you know, because I know something about it?
right,
And it should be that way as well, you know. Sometimes I don't have to get anything out of it. Maybe I just really want to help you out and tell you what I know, you know. I don't have to always get something out of something. And
mhm,
I don't think that that should be go about life. Like I don't,
yeah,
some things just don't really make sense in that capacity. But I feel like that's also what I've learned doing the show. Like as we've grown with the need to know, like I've realized, you know, like we meet people that we still talk to this day from season one till now. You know, like there's a lot of people that we're mad cool with, you know, and people that like we talk to outside of that. And I think that that's dope. You know, I think that that's dope. And I think that that's just how you build authentic connections. And
mhm,
I have no problem supporting any one of those people. You know, it might
that's
not
true.
be the way that everyone else might be supporting them, but it's my way of supporting them and the capacity that I can support them, you
Yeah,
know. So I don't know. This is life really just be
be life, and bro, like,
it be life in. It really do. It really be life in. Cause I don't get, you know, some of the things. Yeah, no, life be life in. You have to live life how life gives it to you because you can some people just get their life handed to them and they perfect, you know? And then some people you have
mhm,
to work to get there. It's just
yeah,
we're working to get there. And you know, however long that takes, and I believe in that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. However long it takes, people don't realize that, you know, we might not get there right now.
mhm,
Trust it. I want to be there, don't get me wrong, but we just might not get there. We might not meet the person that we need until we're in our 30s, maybe not even until we're 40s, you know, and
that's true.
that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, we shouldn't want, I feel like the people who, you know, want to live lavish now, and that's why I said people like the person that I was in the beginning. Remember, I partied all the time. I used to drink. I used to do this. I'm not those things anymore. I don't party anymore. I was like, we can't go to brunch. We can't go after work to do a happy hour. Like we have to go out in the nighttime. It's dark outside. I don't want to go outside.
Mhm, it be like
I'm
that.
like, I'm like, we can't go out after work, you know, right after we clock out. Like, let me clock out and I'm gonna meet you there in 10 minutes. Like, we
Mhm,
can't do that. Like, why can't we do that? Oh my gosh, I would love to do that. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I was like, I've been in the club. I've been there. I've been there. I've been dead drunk. I've been had to take care of the other person drunk. I done did it all. I'm okay. I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be mimosa drunk and go home
right,
at 12 o'clock. I mean 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I want. I don't want to have to come home at 8 o'clock in the nighttime. I mean leave my
mhm,
house at 8 o'clock in the
like, it,
night
yeah,
and be back. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that no more. I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm
mhm,
okay. Like I did that from so early on that I just been telling people, I'm like, yo, you missed that, Serena. That Serena done been happened a long time ago. I was like, you missed that girl. That girl lit as hell. That girl was lit. If you didn't party with me, I don't know what to tell you, but you missed it. I was like, if we not in the house playing a game night, I can't help you. I was like, if we not in the house playing games or we're not at brunch, I don't want to hear it.
mhm,
I don't want to hear it. It's that's too much. That's too much. I can't. I was just like, that person is gone. I was like, that girl from the Need to Know is not here no more. This girl is a different version. Like I said, that chapter like ended, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you go through things. You go through things where you're like, okay, the Need to Know has shown me the person that I was, the person that I am, and the person that I can become. And I feel like that's where I'm at now, you know, trying to gravitate from who I am now to who I can become in all capacities, you know, in all shapes of forms, like as a friend, as, you know, as a creator, like all of that, you know, it's a work in progress.
And
It's,
it's one of those things where it's just like I'm kind of glad that we did it or like started the Need to Know because you could literally go back at any point and see like what you were saying when you was 17, 18 versus
yeah,
like how you think now. And it's like, wow, like
yeah,
you literally can see the growth.
yeah. It, it's, there's like, there's going to be things that we stand by, which is totally fine, you know,
Mm.
to this day from oh shit, what happened?
Okay. That was
I don't
weird.
even know what happened. It like froze, and I was like, "Damn, what's going on?"
Yeah, it froze for me too.
All right. I forgot what I was saying. Um, I don't remember. What do you want to? What do you want to? What do you want to? I guess what's the word? Reflect on. Yes, reflect on.
Reflect. I guess we could reflect on the show itself,
Okay, we could do
like where
that.
it started. Um,
Oh my
like
gosh,
I
where it started.
yeah,
Yo, it
like
started in my bedroom, man.
yeah, her bedroom, her old house, her old crib.
Yo, in my bedroom. Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, my bedroom. Yo, it's so funny because I was just thinking about the day that my bed broke that day. Oh my gosh, that was the funniest thing ever. Oh my gosh, that was
I
the
felt bad
day.
too because I'm like, dang, after the show, like she still has to sleep on his bed. Like,
But I was getting a new bed. That's the crazy part. I
oh
remember
yeah,
I
yeah,
got the new bed maybe like a day or two later because it was coming, but because I was supposed to be taking it apart. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, how did this just break? Season two, we had got the studio. We found the studio. And then we've been in the studio ever since, you know. Um,
yeah,
we've changed studio a couple of times. But we were in our first studio for a long time
yeah, for like good four or
until
five
COVID.
seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until COVID. And then we found our new one. Then they just like up and left. I don't know what happened with that person, but that was a great studio. I love that
Oh,
studio.
that was my
It was
favorite
like the
studio.
best studio. Oh my gosh, that was like one of our best studios. It was just the aesthetic was just so nice. I just
Mm-hmm.
loved that. The aesthetic there was just great. And then after that, we moved to Christian's place. We went to Renaissance Studios.
Yeah,
They
in
was there
Soho.
for a couple of seasons. And see now, if you was still here, we would have that new place that I felt like it was dope. I felt like that would have been our best one because the aesthetic there was really nice. Like it had the nice
Mm.
walls, it had the nice lighting. It was just the lighting that's my problem there because we got to keep putting up them damn lights there. That place was stressing me out. I was like, yo, why we don't got no damn lights that you could, you know? Other than that, I felt like that would have been like our new spot. And it just was dope. Like that place was nice, had a nice chair, like the couch was there, had
Yeah.
chairs, had nice chairs like to maneuver between. It was dope. I feel that that would have been like our new spot. Um, because of the aesthetic. Remember, like it's all about the aesthetic. Like that. Remember that white studio? What? That was that was just like the best aesthetic. It was just
Yeah.
nice, and it's like it had the couches, and it had the chairs, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was just so nice. It was like the best. That was like the best studio ever. And then, we had our little studios in between because, we would book last minute or whatever. And then, but it's okay. That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
But when we got there,
that's probably my favorite one. Like out of all, well, I mean each of them had like their own special thing about it,
yeah,
but like the all white one was just like I don't
yeah.
know, it was like my favorite aesthetic
It
wise.
was, yes, it was, and it wasn't too much like, we didn't get like the noise there.
No,
We didn't, like, that was like the only place that we didn't have, like, well, no, I can't say that place. And then, of course, Renaissance Studios, because it was really nobody on the floor when we would record. So that was like the
mm,
only good thing about those two. Like, we had the sound quality that we needed. And I felt like that was like a great that was like the great part about it.
yeah,
We did try like our little things. We tried to like do the outside um scenery thing.
yeah. I think that was like season.
Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. First of all, our first episode was with the boy. Remember that boy outside on
Yeah,
Easter
yeah, the
Parkway?
kid. And I was like, yo, this kid is crazy. Like, oh my
Yo,
Lord.
that video was mad funny though, because I was just like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand what that was about. I feel like that wasn't for us. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
looking
that
back at
that
it, like that wasn't for us. Like, that wasn't something.
it was like a running gun kind of thing where we was just like, let's try the
We were
outside.
winging it. We were
Yeah,
winging it.
like but after a while we realized like, all right, we need something more like
Yeah,
structured.
we were winging it out there. It was crazy. I don't know. It's just that's not something. I guess like the way like our show is set up, it wasn't for that.
Right.
Like we didn't structure it for it to be that way, and it just wasn't gonna. It wasn't gonna fly. Like it was just a lot going on. For real, we need structure.
Yeah.
Structure is better. That we was winging it. We was really winging it. That was crazy. Um, what I loved about the Need to Know, and that what people always was like, oh, let's redo it. I was like, listen, we film straight through, and we do that because we get bloopers, which I love that we have bloopers. Not everybody has that, with their show, and I feel like that
Yeah.
is I guess authentic characteristic that is a part of the show.
Mhm.
And I love that. Like I love that that's what it was. And people always like laughed about it because we're real people. Like this is not scripted. We don't script a show.
Right.
I was like, the only thing that you can say is scripted would be like my questions. And that's it. And even then I'd be winging it. I'm
Hmm.
always winging it.
Because a lot of the
Yeah.
questions like there will be questions there to like initiate the conversation, but a lot of times like whatever the guest said would kind
Right.
of
I'll get
alter,
another one.
right?
Yeah. Enjoy the bloopers though. Like that was always like the best part at the end. Like, yo, what did we get on camera this time?
Uh-huh. And we always got bloopers. Like every season had its own, like somebody would mess up, whether it was us, the guests. Like even at one time, I think like well the people seen it, but like literally for us, when Christian and Benjamin came for the first time, like they literally could not say one line for like a whole hour.
20
And
minutes. 20 minutes.
it was like,
20
yo, this thing should take 10 seconds. And it took them like
whole
half the
half an
time.
hour.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like,
I was like, yo, you say your name. You say your name. That's it.
that's it. Like,
Yes, like this time, this time, this time. Because what was they saying again? They were saying tune in to the show on that day, whatever day, right?
yeah.
And
Mm,
time. Oh my gosh, they couldn't get that together. Then they
that was
couldn't get
it.
their own names right. Oh my gosh, they couldn't get the names right. It was not funny. It was not funny. I was like, yo, this is gonna be the funniest thing ever. But it was a great show. It was a great show at the end.
It was.
I'm telling you, it was like everything was a great experience overall.
Hmm.
So I really think that's what I enjoy about the show. Like everything is a
And like you said before, like we met a lot of people through the show. Like personally, I don't think if it wasn't for the show, I probably wouldn't meet like I say 80% of the people. Because like of course like some of the people you invite is like people you know personally that just come on the show, but most of them like either they'll hit us up or it'll be like somebody that we know that knows someone.
Yeah.
So they'll come on and then they end up being like somebody we either collab with in the future or just somebody that we just find dope. But yeah, I bet a lot of people do need to know. And so
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
I mean, there's been some negatives too. Like we've had guests where like they were cool, but like we didn't really interact
Oh
with them
my
afterwards,
gosh.
or
Who
a
is
guest that
the
was just like
remember those two guys? The two guys. Oh my gosh. The
was one of them like a rapper or
yes, and then the other one. Well, I think both of them were. But the other one, we were supposed to have the one person, and then we ended up having both of them. And
yeah,
then they had, remember, I was like, yo, you don't want to take your jacket off?
yeah, yeah,
People with their jacket, I'm like, is something going on? Like, you don't want to take your jacket off? Like, it's like not hot in here. Like, the
hmm
heat is on. You don't want to take your jacket off? Oh my gosh. I didn't understand that one. It was what we needed to make the show really what it was, you know?
yeah,
And what to learn and what we learned from it because I learned to like see if I needed to jump the gun first with certain topics
hmm
and like go dive right into it or just take it easy with certain ones as well.
yeah. I mean, it was a lot of ups and downs, which I think any show goes through. Um, just even maneuvering like different studios, like we said before. A lot of times it wasn't like our fault. Like we would have continued with those studios. I would say like the Manhattan one, it was cool, but after a while I was like, all right, this is far. Like, cause actually I'm lying, cause I feel like in the beginning I was saying like, oh, this is far, but then I just got used to it. Especially at one point, I think we were both working in Manhattan, so it was like, okay,
It
after
was
work
just easier, yeah.
you go straight there. Which was the white one you guys saw. I think that was dope too. Like literally, you just take the lure and it would just take you right there.
Not the lure.
But I like double R. But
Not the
I
lure.
I feel like every studio had its own like
Yo,
it was like okay, you gotta get adjusted to it, but it was like a quick adjustment.
I feel
On
like
top
the
of that too,
only
like
one. Actually, no, we didn't really. I don't feel anything was too far.
yeah, nah,
Far, but not too far. Like out of our way.
yeah. And I think
What was
around
you?
that time, like closer to the end of the white studio, that's when I had just got my car. So it was like, okay,
Oh
I'm just gonna
yes,
drive.
yes. No, yeah. But you see, that's when like he moved and like never told me where they were moving to, and I was just
Yeah.
like, what is going on with this? Like, it was
Mm.
kind of weird. But that was like the only studio that I was able to like book for the whole month with no issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only place that I was able to book. Like he was able to block off our dates and
Uh-huh.
times, and I definitely appreciate that. And we didn't have I didn't have to pay him up front. Like we didn't have to do that, and I definitely enjoyed that because it was easier, and it was
Yeah.
like if we need to cancel, it was okay, and we had no problems. Like there was always that was just like the no problems. It was a
Yeah.
great it was just a great experience.
Mm.
It's okay. We had great. I feel like we had great experience, especially on other podcasts, because like we've both been on other podcasts,
Yeah.
to also shed light on the need to know. And I feel like my only bad, like, well, I feel like I was unprepared when I went on that show. Because, and I said this to myself, I was like, number one, I'm not up to date with current events, so I really honestly don't know what you're talking about. Like, I
Mm.
was sitting there mad quiet because I really didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't know nothing about what they were talking about. I was
Mm.
sitting there like, I don't watch sports. I was like, I don't know what to know. I was like, I don't know anything. I was like, I can't even, so I couldn't interact in the way that I wanted to, you
Yeah.
know? So it was kind of like I don't want to say awkward situation, but it was just like I don't know. Like I don't know these things. And it's like I didn't know until literally the day of, like when we were talking about. So
Mm.
I was just like not even prepared. for that particular thing. And but it was a great conversation. You know, it was a great conversation. I feel like maybe they need more females on that particular podcast just to get
Yeah.
another, you know, kind of, I don't want to say aura, but a perspective, because it was such a like a male centric environment that I feel like another person's perspective, because again, it was me, one girl, to the rest of the people, which was like four of them, you know, so
Yeah.
it kind of like was everybody, my side was not weighed. I feel like my side wasn't weighed correctly, you know, in
Hmm.
anything that I was gonna say, because even though maybe they could have been on, they were on my side, somebody was on my side or agreed with me, like my perspective. Again, I'm still one woman to these amount of men, so I think that's something that they could have used, like a, you know, a constructive criticism for that particular podcast. I feel like
Hmm.
podcasts should have, if it's men, like all men, like you should want to, if you're gonna have females, you should have an equal amount of females,
Hmm.
just so that, you know, everybody's, you know, perspective is weighed correctly, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like with us, we've always had a mix. So it
Hmm.
didn't, you know, we've always had like one side over the other, like not always one side over the other.
Yeah.
And even if we had one more than the other, it was just like, it was always a tie though. It never was like one person, one person outweighed the other. So I don't know. I feel like podcasts like that should um, be mindful to how their structure is in terms of hosts. I
Hmm.
feel like that's one thing that I learned. And all, like I said, aesthetic, I feel like is super important, because I can't have like that particular podcast, like they weren't like the same, you know, sitting the same level. Like one
Yeah.
person had this high chair, like this high chair. The other one was sitting on the couch. You know, we were, everybody was out. It was just a lot going on. I feel like that would have made the aesthetic more like a shared space,
Hmm.
rather than, you know, someone sitting higher than the other. I don't think that, you know, really was a good, like, is a good aesthetic in terms of like view, like me looking at the show.
Yeah.
Listening to it doesn't really matter, you know, like who cares? Like I'm never gonna know where you're sitting at. You can be sitting on the floor for all I know, you know, like, but viewing it, I feel like we should be, you know, on the same, if we're sitting next to each other, we should all be like on the same couch or near each other, like, you know, just like view wise.
Right.
um I do want to show, especially visuals, like, you know, aesthetic matters, you know, who you have on the show, like is there a good amount of men to females, or females to men, um and then, you know, the topics, like is this going to be appealing to someone or not.
Hmm.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It took time, you know, for us to get a groove of it, but it we got to, we stuck to what we wanted to do. You
Yeah.
know, we didn't obviously, we put in input from other podcasts and things that we saw, you know, but we never changed like what our show stood for or what we stand for,
Yeah.
you know. So I feel like that's one thing I that I cherish about the Need to Know. All right, guys. Now is the time. I don't know if you saw our face in the beginning, but this is just the time that we have to share some news with you guys.
Yes, I mean pretty much like, with this reflection, um, we kind of both agreed that like we still have love for the show even to this day. But in terms of like where we are in life, it's kind of like hard to do at this point. So this is not like it's not like a goodbye scenario where it's just like, all right, we're like completely done, but it's more like where we are now, like this may not be the best time to. So it's like a extended pause, like if we will. Like, because at one point we do have like a point where it's just like, are we coming back? Are we like revamping? And part of that is due to like, me not being um in New York anymore. So like the show did shift a lot to where you guys did see like on Zoom. We're kind of taking a pause just because, you know, life is like moving us in different directions. Um, and there's just like a lot more we want to focus on. We don't want to come on a need to know and kind of like just give you guys content just to give you. Like we actually want to like be in it. But right now, like in our headspace and where we are in life and what we have going on, it's just like the priority hasn't been the need to know anymore. So um again, it's not like an official like goodbye. It's just more like a you probably won't see content for a little bit or for a while unless, you know, me and Reed decide like, you know, this is something we want to pursue again and kind of like revamp. But it's one of those things that was like a bittersweet moment because it's like while the show is like somewhat ending, it's more like a like dang, this is something we really started since 2017 and like we just grown a lot with it and to like see it, you know, take this pause. It's kind of like a we understand why, but it's still like a you know, this is something that's been part of us for a long time. So it's hard to let something, you know, of this magnitude like stop, but you know, it's more like a we also get it. Like we're older and you know, life has changed. So
Sums it up. We did like I said in the beginning, we had like such a dramatic pause after a couple of weeks of recording and putting out content. So it was more so, you know, we don't have the time, things always conflict. And it's okay, you know, we just our lives are, you know, in different directions right now. And we just had to understand that this is just how life is, you know, preparing us for the chapter that we're going to be in and you know and the chapter that we're in now. So it's okay, you know, it's bittersweet. We've been doing this for so long, and kind of not having it at all seems a little awkward. You know, not doing it at all seems awkward, but this is just something that we had to come to an agreement on just because what, you know, like our time is not the same. So, and that's pretty much really what it is. You know, our time is not the same. Um, we talked about a lot of these things that we wrote down that we were gonna save for you guys. Like we did behind the scenes. We didn't talk about our best season. I feel like every time we do something like that, we talk about our best season, it just always changes. Like I don't know. Like I don't know my best. I feel like our best season. I don't even know what our best season was. It's
I don't
just
know. I
so
feel like
many things.
we had a few good seasons, like really, really good
Right.
seasons.
We had a few really, really good seasons. I felt like our last season, I feel like season 11 was really good.
Mm,
Season 11 was really good. We had a lot of new faces in season 11 that I thought really like put an impact on, you know, wow, like you guys really got some things going on and I like that. Like I love this that we're able to sit here and communicate like this and to be able to bond like this. I feel like season 11 was a great bonding experience in terms of like what people went through similarly, you know, and what we didn't. And then just like, you know, advice to each other. And I feel like it was a great, you know, reflection on life for ourselves as well. I don't know. We talk about favorite moments. I feel like the need to know in general is a favorite moment.
mm.
Like just a great damn.
Yeah, so even the like the good and bad of the show, like even at times when we was in the studio and had like a no show or
Yeah.
trying to find a studio at the last minute, like it's just all been like a learning experience. And it's like looking back at it now, it's like you kind of sit back and laugh, like, yo, we really did that. Like,
Well, let's do this one. We've never talked about it off camera, but like in terms of keeping our episodes up or not, and then especially social media. So obviously, I'm not going to take off the social media. I feel like you guys can always
mm,
contact us. We'll just let you know what it is and what it's not. You know, that's
mm,
totally fine. And then don't get us wrong. Like you can always collab with both of us outside of the need to know. Like need to know is always going to be the need to know, but we also still do other things, and we also still do things. It's not like we're not going to ever not do anything together. So it's
yeah.
more so you can still hit us up. We can still collab on anything else. We don't ever mind being on the show, whatever show you got going on. Like, why not? Like if we can make it, we can make it. If it's just one of us, like it just depends on, whatever that moment is. But you can
Mhm.
always contact the need to know. It's never gonna not be there. Um, and then of course, I mean, having the show up, I don't think the show should go down. I don't think there's no,
No, I mean, it'll stay there, to
mhm,
be honest, forever. Like, I don't think I'll ever take it down just because, like, one, it's for you guys, like, for people
right,
who, you know, y'all probably kids now or y'all probably was kids then when we first started, and now you're like in high school or you're becoming an adult and you just need like a
right.
show. So you can always like reference it. But for me, it's like it's always gonna be a show I'm gonna revert back to, like just for memory purposes, or if it's something I forgot that we talked about, and it's like I could always revert back to the episode. Because I even find myself now where like I'll just watch a random episode. Like if I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that part, and it's just like I just click it to watch.
Start watching it, yeah.
And so I like even for myself, but more importantly for you guys, like it'll always be there. So you don't have to worry about it like going down or yeah, like every single episode will stay up.
So then moving forward and into the future, just in general, you guys know, like I said, we both have other projects that we do. As you know, like I'm working on my third book. Um, yeah, third book, yo. Sounds crazy, right? Third book. I also do my docu-series. I'm just looking for people to participate. So again, I do want to let you guys know I don't use the same person twice. Only just because of each story needs to be, its own. So the only reason why I don't take people twice is because of that reason. Um, each story has to literally be its own. So it just, but I'm always looking for people. So um I'm going to tell you guys first. So if you watch this, you guys are the first to know. My website is down. I am maneuvering it to be a digital magazine, more so of a magazine aspect, but also I'm working on it to be print as well. So you'll be able to get your own printed copy and kind of just more so maneuvering it into being a actual magazine. So I'm definitely working on a couple of things right now. So I'm actually excited for you guys. And, I'm always looking to collab with people. If you need a writer, if you need to do freelance work, I'm always here. And then, of course, we have our speed dating event. Oh my gosh, I have not posted it. But like I said, I'm still trying to aim for it. I haven't been posting it. So obviously people haven't been hitting me up, but I do still want to do it. Um, if I have to keep pushing it back, I'm going to keep pushing it back. I personally don't even care. Like I'm going to keep pushing it back to a date until we get the even amount of, men and women that want to participate. Just remember, it's not just to find someone that you want to date, it's to find a friend. You can always go on a friend date, guys. Dates are for everybody. Like, don't think that you can't have a friend date. Friend dates are the best dates. Oh, Jesus. A friend date is the best date. You guys can talk and do whatever you guys want to do and have a good activity and then eat. Yo, food is life. You guys should know this. Food is life. So that's pretty much all I have moving forward. So what do you have moving forward?
For me, honestly, I've been on pause of everything for a while. But I'm slowly coming back towards um I guess like content. Just trying to like figure it out. In terms of like special projects or things that I have, um, I'm looking to start my third documentary. But that's more so for like when I get back.
Coming back is indefinite right now. It's really so more so let us figure that out when the time comes closer. And we have another conversation, but for right now, this is our, indefinite end. Um, it's bittersweet, very bittersweet. But we did have a long talk about this. We did like really reflect on what was going on. Um, it's just, it's a lot. So
Yeah.
you'll see us eventually somewhere. we're not gonna just not talk to each other. Like that's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
But we had to make a decision that was best for, you know, the situation. Um, but other than that, I think that's it. I think that's it. I guess we doing our outro.
Yeah.
I guess, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss that, yo. Our outro, what? Yo, you know how many outros we have? And I finally came up with this one. I tell you, man, I had to. It's just, I mean, these things came to me like randomly.
Literally. Like,
But let's talk about it. So you can follow me on social media. It's Read the Host on Instagram. No Twitter. I don't even use Twitter anymore. Just follow me on Instagram, bro. Like I even be on Twitter. You can just follow me on Instagram. Read the Host. That's all I got anyway. Only got Instagram. I don't got nothing else. And then of course make sure you follow the show's page. It's gonna stay up for you guys. If you want to contact us, if you want to do it, if you want to watch our stuff, whatever you want to do, our links are always gonna be there as well. Um, and you know, that's pretty much it for that. Oh yeah, sorry, TNTK show. My bad, I forgot about that. I didn't even say it. I didn't even say it. I didn't even say it. As always, thank you for watching the show.
and that's all you need
And
to
that's all
know.
you need to know. Bye guys.